Hey guys, Zach here. I know it's called football. I'm joining you a day after that huge win against Everton 4-0 at the Emirates yesterday. And I've taken a day to really think and sort of analyze the game. And I think I've come to terms with the fact that Arsenal are going to win the Premier League this year. They are a group of politely arrogant young players, young men, led by a captain who is, held for his entire career, held this reputation of wonder kid. Every season, not quite making it, not quite breaking through. Until 22 years old, he came here on loan, did fantastically well, stuck out, came back, made it permanent, and within half a year, he was captain of this football club. And he set an example, I think, for a lot of young players who obviously already had a mentality of getting over leaps and hurdles, making a name for themselves, at the club, at an international level. Gabriel Martinelli, obviously, his first call up, his first World Cup, due to his performances for this Arsenal side, and he's helped, I think, a lot of these players get comfortable with, being young in this league. And I think Odegaard has a lot to do with that, a lot to do with the confidence and the way he can just point this team in the right direction. I mean, there's so many times during a game you see him, making calls, pointing at players, right as Arteta is doing the same thing. And I think it shows you his football intelligence, Odegaard. And I mean, we are extremely lucky to get him for what we got him for, 35 million, I think it was. And speaking of that, Trossard, again, another player now who's come in January. Jorginho I'll speak about in a bit, who's come in and just he's slotted right in. It's like Trossard's been playing, in this team for the last 2 years, when you've really started to see this identity about Arsenal coming to be. And another assist for him yesterday. He's just a fantastic player, tricky. That false nine, it's really enabled Martinelli to get back to that form that we know, was missing over the past few games. 2 goals, 2 really well taken goals as well. The first one, it's not easy to slot a goal like that near post, and the second one, just a quick toe poke right between Pickford's legs. Brilliant. Such a good performance from Martinelli and Leandro Trossard. Now, Jorginho played a half. Partey came on in the second half. And Jorginho, I think, reminding Chelsea players, it seems like he's yet to have a poor performance. I understand Jorginho's only been here for a couple games, but he's looked very promising. And I think when you come to terms with Thomas Partey being injured, I think that's twice now he's been injured. I'm not even going to get into the amount of huge games that he's missed for Arsenal. He's missed every Tottenham, Liverpool, City, United, Chelsea. He's missed all of those games at least once, if not twice. And Jorginho has come in and he's done the job good enough to help enable players like Granit Xhaka. Zinchenko is still comfortable coming in when you have Jorginho, who's just going to sit there, and he's totally okay with being that holding midfielder. And I've seen so many tweets from Chelsea fans talking about getting relegated, first of all, but second of all, how much they miss Jorginho. And yeah, he's not going to be the player to solve the goal drought that Chelsea are in. 4 goals this entire calendar year. He's not going to be that player, but still, the control that he has, he's very calm. We've yet to see a big mistake from Jorginho, but hopefully it never comes. A couple sloppy passes, sure, but the way he can fit in Thomas Partey's absence, a player who's really irreplaceable, I think, unless you go for a player like Declan Rice, who I think could definitely fit that position as well as Thomas Partey, excuse me. So Trossard and Jorginho, the 2 January signings that cost a total of 30 million, something like that, 35 maybe. They've come in and not only have they immediately synchronized with this team and what Arteta is trying to do, they've been performing. So it's not just they look comfortable and they're best friends with everybody now. This squad, it's like one big blob. As soon as you're part of it, you just get absorbed in and you know everything. You're close, you're friends, you're joking, you're enjoying your football, which is so important. and you're being led by a young manager who is on top of the world right now in Mikel Arteta. I want to talk about Bukayo Saka as well. Fantastic goal from him. Smashed it right over Pickford with the weak foot. The confidence this guy is oozing, Saka, he is world class, and hopefully he can sign that new deal sooner rather than later. Seems like it's only a matter of time now. Even David Ornstein has been saying this, so you know it's so close. And the next step, of course, is to get Saliba tied down to a long-term contract as well. Martinelli was the first of those three that, you know, Arsenal fans are pretty desperate to get signed down to a new deal. And sort of a player who's gone a little under the radar with his performances. Lots of talk about William Saliba, obviously. This year is finally going to be his year that he makes it through. I remember being terrified sort of preseason, before the season started, about selling him. You know, he 3 spells on loan in France, same manager, he sent them on loan every time, never bought him. A lot of people saying he didn't rate him, but now he is looking very comfortable. And again, like I said, hopefully getting tied down to a long-term contract as well. I am doing this because nobody watches these videos anyway. Right. Gabriel has been fantastic alongside Saliba. This really, since we come back from the World Cup, it's almost like he took that personally that he didn't get called up, but he stayed with the team. I'm sure he worked hard. I think he's played every game in the Premier League this season for us. I could be wrong. If it's not 25, it's 24 games that he's played, all 90 minutes, I think, Gabriel. Fantastic again. It's the confidence that he goes, the tackles in the penalty box, the confidence to do that as a defender. When you're still sort of batting off a reputation of maybe being a little bit rash, perhaps on a scale from like 0 to Xhaka, maybe like a 6, Gabriel, maybe 6.5 or something. So it's just been fantastic watching this team come together and perform, and the title really is ours to lose. You have a 5-point gap. You know how to beat Man City. We lost the game ourselves. You cannot give a team like that opportunities, just giving the ball away like we did twice in that game and gifting them a goals, and now you have to go there and have a performance away from home at Man City's ground, which I can't even tell you the last time we won there. Maybe it was a Jack Wilshere goal, like 2015, something like that, the little chip over Joe Hart, if you remember that. It's ours to lose, and if you don't get at least a point against Man City, you know, at the Etihad, then I think you're in trouble. And it's funny, I started this video saying Arsenal are going to win the league, but you know, getting myself to talk this whole time, this 8 minutes of this video, you have your doubts always. And you know, I'm optimistic about it. I'm always optimistic, and I think the players give us a reason to. The manager, they give us a reason to be optimistic and hopeful, I think, is maybe a better word to describe that. So I'm going to end the video here, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you've made it this far, I do really appreciate it. And I will see you when I see you.